on Pennsylvania Avenue, just down the hill from Capitol Hill and the Capitol building behind me here. And I'm joined now by the Minister, Mary Ng, Minister of Trade and Commerce here, Trade for Canada. Thanks for being here. We always love dealing with our neighbors to the north here. But this is a new dawn, it's a new era, and I'm curious, as you look at what we're seeing unfold here in the building behind us, and then eventually down the street at the White House not too far from here, how will this new administration, this new term, immediately impact what goes on in that relationship between the United States and Canada?
Well, thank you so much. It's great, Scott, to have you here at the Canadian Embassy. And, you know, it's a tradition that we have here at the Canadian Embassy. Every 4 years at inauguration, we host a wonderful event here. There's some 2,000 people who are here. They're Americans, they're Canadians, and they're here because they care deeply about the Canada-U.S. relationship. So to answer your question, I think that the work that lies ahead is how do we strengthen this relationship? How do we deepen this trade relationship, which is over $1 trillion a year? I suspect that while you and I are having this conversation over minutes, we're going to probably do somewhere in the order of about $10 million in just the few minutes that we're sitting here. But it's to deepen and strengthen this relationship because Canada is a trading partner, a big customer, and American workers win, we win, and we should find the way of finding the win-wins together so that we can deepen and make the North American economy even stronger.
Are you worried or concerned that there's a little more of a fragile tone to what's going to take place between these two?
I think that we should always listen carefully to what the president may have with respect to concerns. The president has talked to Prime Minister Trudeau about that, and I think what it signifies is what we've done over years and years. I mean, think about the USMCA. That was an agreement that during the last president's term, he negotiated with Canada, and in the end, we ended up with a much better agreement. We found the wins for America, we found the wins for Canada, and yes, there are issues. In a relationship that is over $1 trillion, of course there are going to be issues, but I think the opportunity that is there for us is actually how do we build together? How do we innovate together? How do we create economic security together? How do we ensure that our national security concerns are ones that Canada and the U.S. can actually work on together?
There's been a lot of guessing by American economists specifically, but I'm sure north of the border as well, about what this talk about tariffs will mean. Some believe that the president may back off some of this tariff talk after a while because that could hurt American consumers if prices just get passed back across a Mexican or a Canadian border to Americans. Where do you believe we are in this decision on whether or not there will be tariffs and how that could play out between the United States and Canada?
Well, we're waiting for the rest of the day to unfold with the president and the decisions that he makes around the executive orders. So far, we have not seen something direct vis-a-vis tariffs with respect to Canada. I think that's encouraging. Just a couple of days ago, the U.S. Chamber came out very, very clear that tariffs are actually going to be harmful to American consumers, American farmers, the American economy, and we agree. So how we can step through this and work through the issues that America may have should be something that we should be doing together.
Yeah, I recall when President Trump took office the first time, and I believe it was his first bilateral press conference. And it was with Prime Minister Trudeau, and I was there in the East Room, and I asked both President Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau about the relationship between the two. And I asked Prime Minister Trudeau, in light of the fact that you just had 8 years with President Obama, or at least Canada in general, with President Obama, how are you feeling about this kind of new world that is being laid out before you with a man with very different policies, personas, you know, negotiating tactics specifically. And he exuded some confidence and some optimism. Do you think that this is a different President Trump when it comes to that relationship with Canada than you saw the first time around?
Well, us Canadians have always taken the view the American people will make a choice about who leads their country, and we will work with whoever is in the White House. I think this relationship is too important for us to not do that work. When Canada is the largest customer to 36 American states, we buy more from America than the United Kingdom, than Japan, and China combined. That is the strength of the relationship. We are a big customer, but we also sell a lot to America. And when we sell to America, 70% of what we sell into America, the U.S. they put value add into it, and then they make additional products, new products that actually create greater prosperity and opportunities for American jobs. So I think that the president and certainly the American businesses and workers' labor organizations that I've talked to have one clear thing in mind, which is how do we keep building and strengthening this relationship that has worked for us for decades upon decades. So I think that's the attitude we're going to take. We're prepared, of course, for whatever the eventuality is. We hope that what we're going to be doing is build together, innovate together, and continue deepening this Canada-U.S. relationship.
Mr. Ng, thank you for those insights. I'm sure it will be an adventure on all ends as we figure out not only the tariff discussions, but how this relationship between the United States and Canada will continue to grow, as you pointed out, hopefully in a direction that's positive for all involved. We appreciate it, and thank you for hosting us here at the Canadian Embassy as we have this fantastic view of the Capitol and all the proceedings behind us. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Come back anytime. We welcome our American friends.
So hospitable.